Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the NXT report for 9/14/21. Not exactly the best of shows, and the kickoff for the new NXT, which is a lot more like the very old NXT, which, by the way, we are going to go back and redo the entire, well, not the entire, but continue the NXT series at some point. I just got burnt out on doing so much current day product stuff. Modern day wrestling has very little appeal when it's all bouncy. Anyway, it's a new day, and Biggie is your WWF champion over on Raw. It's also a new day for NXT. Reboot begins. Lead in from USA was Tombstone. That's interesting. Um, you know. Anyway, NXT 2.0 opens with a promo from the contenders in the Fatal 4-Way match for the NXT Championship. Tommaso Ciampa begins by saying tonight is Goldie 2.0. Pete Dunne is a much more angry promo. He basically says that he will put down the other contenders. Kyle O'Reilly talks about being one who's went away from achieving the goal of his 16 years in the wrestling business, and it's about time that he wins the title. LA Knight closes out the opening promo with a shot at former champ Samoa Joe. Knight claims that the medical reason for Joe vacating is due to him losing his manhood because he was scared of Knight. Now everybody's stuck in the same spot. Bear Bronson, and that is the son of Rick Steiner, or Braun Bronson is here. And I mean, our Braun Baker is here. That's the name they're giving him. I actually had read it being something else. He walks in wearing a Steiner's singlet. He tells Knight he wants to prove himself. Knight warned Breaker that he would beat the brakes off him. And there we go. New intro features music from Wale, and the new graphics are a change of pace, very bright, very vibrant color, and the set is layout of an arena looks much better than previous. Braun Breaker defeats LA Knight. Breaker upsets Knight in an opening match here. Breaker looks like a Steiner and kind of wearing the 1990 singlet. Knight's new moniker is the $1 Million Man Star, or $1 Million Megastar. Works over Breaker at the start of the contest, but Breaker soon fights back. Breaker gives Knight a belly to belly suplex, but Knight tries to cut him off. Breaker then fires up once more to pick up Knight, and then Gorilla Press, and Breaker drops Knight into a power slam. Breaker also then covers Knight for a 3 count. Anyway, I don't know that this is necessarily good or bad. NXT roster members are backstage congratulating Breaker on his win. Imperium, Martel Bartel, and Fabian Aichner defeats Brooks Jensen and Josh Briggs. Aichner pins Jensen to win a relatively simple match. Jensen and Briggs cut promos. Insert picture in a picture that would have fit on an episode of Superstars of Challenge from, 30 years ago, or almost, 35 years ago. They get the shine early, and Jensen then climbs the top rope, but Bartel distracts him, and that allows Aichner to give Jensen a avalanche butterfly suplex, and Aichner covers for the pinfall win. Decent promo from Hit Row, putting over B-Fab. B-Fab with Hit Row defeats Katrina Cortez. Beefhead pins Cortez in an enhancement match. Cortez gets a little bit of offense until she leapt on the middle rope, and BFAB hits a high kick on Cortez, and BFAB pins her. Post-match, BFAB goes to cut a promo. She's interrupted by Elektra Lopez, and they're at it again. She's dressed like Carmen Sandiego with the hat deal there, and then flanked by El Legado del Fantasma. Austin Theory returns to NXT in a backstage kit with Johnny Gargano, Cameron Grimes, and Odyssey Jones. Theory surprised Gargano by returning after previously running away. Theory says every wedding needs a priest, so Theory brings Damian Priest with him, and Gargano is glad to see him, and but he's not happy to see Priest. And he also says that Priest is not actually a priest and cannot officiate the wedding. Theory is confused by that fact. Breakout turn for Carmelo Hayes. Samantha Irvin interviews the breakout tournament winner Carmelo Hayes. In ring, Hayes says life is great and he now has the juice, but he admits that there's a target on his back, so he's called a friend to watch his back. The friend is Trick Williams. Trick tells Carmelo that he is proud of him, but Trick has a bone to pick with him. Trick says Carmelo is acting too humble. Trick claims that he and Carmelo are bounty. And anyway, Hayes flips the switch and he cuts a heel promo proclaiming himself as the chosen one. When Carmelo shoots, Hayes says he does not miss. Anyway, Duke Hudson enters the set ready for a match, and which is apparently next, and my computer is dinging all over the place here. Hudson stops on his way to the ring, and Hudson tells Hayes that he got lucky. Trick says lots of stuff like this stops tonight. Trick removes his shirt and jumps Hudson. Hayes joins in on giving Hudson a beatdown. Mandy Rose has a new look and she's debuting it tonight. Kaden Carter and Casey Catanzaro defeat Gigi Dolan and JC James via disqualification. Mandy Rose runs in and gets a DQ. During the match, there is a cut into the backstage area. Pete Dunne and Ridge Holland jump Kyle O'Reilly in a sneak attack. Meanwhile, the women's tag match rolls on and absolutely nobody cares. Mandy Rose runs in. Rose is dressed in all black and she's got cut off shorts and a leather jacket and some boots. Rose is also wearing a beanie on her head, waiting for a big reveal. She attacks Catanzaro, and the referee calls for the bell. And then Rose is wearing a brunette hairdo now. Anyway, Saray runs in and cuts off the heels. This leads to a 6-woman match. Mandy Rose, Gigi Dolan, and JC Jane defeats Saray, Kaden Carter, Casey Catanzaro. Rose then covers Carter to win the 6-woman tag match. Rose faces off with Saray during the match, but the issues remain unsettled. Heels work over Catanzaro, cut the ring off from her, runs wild. Rose then feeds into her, and Carter hits a near fall. Jane jumps in and breaks up a super kick, and then melee comes about. Saray is facing off with Rose after this, and then Rose has a beef with Saray going back to an injury angle from several weeks ago. William Regal is joined by the interview correspondent Mackenzie Mitchell for an announcement about the main event. Kyle O'Reilly is out, and replacing O'Reilly in that match is Von Wagner. and that's Cal Bloom, who is the son of retired wrestler Wayne Bloom of the Destruction Crew, no relation to Dr. Wagner. Ridge Holland defeats Drake Maverick with Grayson Waller. Holland pins Maverick in a basic squash match. Holland um, goes after Maverick pretty aggressively. Maverick tries to fight back, doesn't get anywhere, and Northern Grit by Holland, and he gets the victory. Ciampa is backstage. He mentions that he's 908 days since Ciampa has had Big Goldie, but that's his pet name for the championship belt. But he's coming back to that. Tony D'Angelo is coming soon to NXT. He tells us about being in the Mafia without saying that he's in the Mafia, basically leading a double life bit there. D'Angelo mentions that he's a great has a great amateur wrestling background, but that he does not, that doesn't pay. He then is known for his family business. D'Angelo's coming to NXT, and that's where the money is. What money? Anyway, Jules and Brutus Creed with the Diamond Mine defeat Dan Jarman and Travis Silky. Creed brothers win in another squash match. So basically, NXT is a bunch of squash matches and one good match. But then we do all-star matches on the main roster. Anyway, slower pace than the debut last week, but basically they beat up the enhancement talents just the same. In the post-match promo, the Diamond Mines in the ring, Malcolm Bivens introduces the audience to the newest members of Diamond Mine, and she is Ivy Nile. NXT Cruiserweight Champion Kushida interrupts Bivens' promo, telling Bivens to talk. He talks too much. Bivens then challenges Kushida to a title match against Roderick Strong. And then we move to the main event. Tommaso Ciampa defeats Pete Dunne, LA Knight, and Von Wagner in a fatal four-way for the vacant championship. Ciampa wins the title after pinning Knight in a decent match. Starts out like a fatal four-way, but gets better from the early stages. Starts with two wrestlers ending up outside the ring. Then the others come in and do their deal. Wagner looks like a powerhouse guy, gets shined before show cuts to commercial break, and then Knight is down at the break. Takes Wagner out by sending him into the ring steps, and Wagner is soon back in the ring. High spots, boom, boom, boom. Everybody gets looking strong at one point or another. Lots of action back and forth. And then Wagner hits an Olympic slam on Dunne for a near fall. And then another comes in just before the finish of the match. Knight's able to give Dunne a superplex, only to have that broke up. Fairy tale ending finisher by Ciampa. He gets the 1-2-3 win, and Goldie is coming home, proclaims Vic Joseph on commentary. And then, while this match is the main focus, the big segment is the wedding. NXT roster members fill in as guests to the wedding, and Indy Hartwell comes down the aisle. Ceremony begins. We learn some middle names. Loomis's full name is Dexter Gaylord Loomis. Hartwell's full name is Indy Ophelia Hartwell. Okay. Presiding over the ceremony does the dearly beloved deal, and then Hartwell gives away. He cuts a promo, but Candice LeRae stops him. Gargano asks Austin Theory if he has the ring. Theory says we're in the ring, and this is stupid. Ikemenshiro stands up and is wearing a sports jacket, and Almost everyone in the ring raises their hand. Loomis looks around while opening his coat to reveal a hatchet. Everyone puts their head down, and then Hartwell reads her vows. She tells Loomis he is misunderstood, and many people see him as a creep. She sees him as cuddly, and some people see Loomis as a stalker. What she sees is a caring man with a well-groomed mustache and tight clothes, and he never takes his eyes off of her. She says Loomis is called a freak, and then, dang right, he's a freak. Anyway, Dexter is my freak, she says. She goes on to say that she remembers the night he claimed in the Gargano's house late at night. Loomis covers the microphone, cutting off the story. Gargano is in disbelief, and Hartwell says Dexter is cute when he's upset. And she also puts over they never losing a stalking contest. She says they understand each other and she loves him, and everybody applauds. Dexter's turn to recite his vows. Crowd is quiet, and Loomis gives a thumbs up instead. Wedding officiant calls out Loomis, saying Hartwell poured her heart out, and he believes Loomis has nothing to say. Officiant is now causing a scene. And so Gargano starts a chant for William Regal, urging Regal to preside over the wedding. Regal looks mortified at the thought of this. Beth Phoenix jumps in, says this may happen, and then Loomis is encouraged to speak. He puts his hand over his mic and says what he says as far as I do's. Crowd goes nuts. Tommaso Ciampa is watching the wedding from the backstage monitor. He is approached by Braun Breaker. They shake hands, show of respect, and then there's tension between them. The wedding ends on a happy note, and anyway, NXT closes the show with a happy wedding, and this is supposed to be the new NXT. Good gosh, I quit. Anyhow, we'll be back with more right after this.